Welcome to George Fox Talks. I'm so excited to bring you this episode right now about what matters in the world today on Christian terms, what it means to be Gen X and a millennial, how men are doing these days in the world, and what it might mean for us to live on the brink of extinction. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Christian thinker and activist, Jason Fileta, with the huge honor of co-hosting our guest today. Can we co-host? Does it take two of us to host one and handle one propaganda, hip-hop artist, author, poet, husband, father, and more, author of the award-winning book, Terraform, Building a Better World, and the recent album, The Beautiful Ending, in collaboration with Matt Ozowski, which I've been listening to in a state of wonder.
Who needs luggage in paradise?
Like just a state of wonder. Huge honor to talk with you. Thanks for coming here and hanging out with us.
Are you kidding me, dude? So dope. Beautiful dream wonderland that is the Northwest Fall.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you're on the West Coast too, so we're all brothers on the West Coast.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I ask you this question? This is a big question. Just getting right into it. Very serious. But like for you, for Christians, for people of faith commitment today, what matters? Like what matters in this moment, do you think?
Man, it's great, dude. Because like obviously a million things.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be one thing, but like what jumps to mind? What comes from your gut?
One thing.
What comes
right.
What's the one thing? I just mean like what comes from your gut, like right now, like what matters?
Yeah, man. Like it's crazy because it's really the same thing that it always has, which is just like it's dignity. It's empathy. It's hospitality. It's that part of you that says, I look at my neighbor and I see myself. I see kinship and brotherhood and a fierce, unwavering defense of your personhood. And anything that attacks that is my enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I think of, you bring up California, when I think about ICE raids, when I think about all these different things, I'm just like, this is an attack on a personhood, and I'm like, as a believer, I feel like you should take that personal. You know what I'm saying? That like this is the image of God. How dare you? How dare you deny this person? You know what I'm saying? So and again, like, but that sort of defense, the other side of that is, like I said, just this, like, I think part of it is either I'm just getting older, or the other part is like I have room in my house that like I love hospitality now. Like something clicked. I want people to come over. I want you to come over. I want to cook for you. I want to show you my favorite taco truck. I want to see, what I'm saying? Like come here. You know what I'm saying? Let me open my home.
Yeah.
But just what hospitality does to your pride, to your ego, to your desire to see joy in another person, I just feel like, man, now I know why, like, it was such a big deal in the Torah to be like, you need to welcome the stranger. Like,
it's the number one command by volume. Yeah. Doesn't matter what you are, who you are. It's just the numbers, just math.
Just the math. Yeah.
It's the number one commandment is to take care of the stranger, the ger in Hebrew.
I can totally see it now.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I don't know, whatever the case may be, it's like that hospitality for me, like, it just cracks open parts of your heart for like empathy and joy.
That phrase you use, room in my house.
Yeah.
Where did you, and I wonder this for you too, Jason, I know, this is a concept that's important to you as well. Like, where did you find that room in your house? Like literally or metaphorically? Like, what does that mean? Where did that come from in your life? You said as I get older, but like, how do you find that room in your house?
Well, one is the literal, like we just have more space now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's that.
You upgraded the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think this is going to be a winding thing here, but like,
wind it out.
Yeah. When you have kids, like, well, when I have kids, it turns out like there's another square of your heart you had no idea existed. You know what I mean? Or
totally.
just like,
definitely,
absolutely, you're like, I had no idea I had no idea I had, you just say word, I didn't know I had room for this. You know what I mean? And then you do, and you're just like, now I can't imagine life any different. I can't imagine the person I would be were this not my experience. So there's that. But then I think about, okay, so like 2012, 13, I get one of those Bob Goff calls.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Bob Goff?
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, come up to Canada. And I'm like, who are you again? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, fam, you follow this white boy up to the like.
He's
I'm
the
good.
guy who has like a book with like balloons on the cover.
Yeah, you know.
I can see how that could feel a little weird. Maybe.
I was just like, I don't know y'all. You know what I'm saying, right? So
sure.
Took me 2 years, but I finally went, right? And I had never seen wealth done well, like in my life. I had never seen that, like wealth that was generous, you know. And one thing he would talk about, it was crazy because it wasn't opulence. It was like, if I buy a jet ski, I gotta buy 3 jet skis. And it's so that I can host your family. It's not because I need 3 jet skis. It's that when you come, I want to create for you the greatest moment of your life. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, so if you're gonna buy a quad, you need to buy 2 quads. Right. Not because you need 2 quads. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just seeing someone think about money that way, in the sense of like, I have this home, the size of this home, so that I can have y'all over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was just like oh, you know what I mean? Like, I just had never thought of wealth that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you saying. My wife is a therapist, and she wrote this blog piece recently in which she said something like, you know, maybe so many of us in our lives, we don't even make the space in our life. Like, what if there's a death in a family or someone's sick, to even have the space in your life so that you can make a meal for another person.
Yeah, totally.
But you have to actually kind of like prepare for that.
You got to, yes.
In a way, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. That's what I mean by like, you make room. Now that I have room, I'm I get it now. Yeah, I get it. And because, you know, we're from the inner city. Like, if you came, we'd have had a couch for you. Like, we'd have figured it out. You know what I'm saying? But once it was like, okay, we're not renting anymore. Like, this is my house. Okay, so I can change this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that definitely, like, I think it, as much as I enjoyed it just for my own self, it definitely unlocked something spiritually for me.
Yeah, Jason, so what are you hearing in all this?
Well, yeah, I have a question that's bubbling up, which is, because of how polarized our times are right now. Yeah. I think when people hear someone condemn ICE raids, for example, they automatically assume, if they don't feel that same sentiment, oh, that person, Prop, doesn't have room in his house for me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think in the times we're living in now, the tensions between people are different than they've been in the past. But in the first years of the first Trump administration, where there was a lot more public anti-immigrant sentiment surfacing and things from our politicians and from people, et cetera, there was a lot less room in the House for people who thought differently than you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I guess the question that's bubbling up for me is kind of like a secondary question about like, is there room in the House for the people who are hearing you talk about these things and think, oh, that guy has no room for me in his house? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No, there is. I think that there has to be a world where 2 really good friends can wholeheartedly disagree. Yeah. And I say that with the caveat of, there are things that are non-negotiables. That you're right, that I will not stand for in my home. You're not going to dehumanize anybody in my home. Like, you know, and I am saying that to the person that thinks I don't have room for them. What I'm saying is, I'm asking you to step up a level. I'm asking you to say, I am not making any assumption about who you are because you disagree with me. That's fine. What I'm saying is, are we talking about fellow image bearers? And I feel like if we're not, I don't know where the conversation goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
like you're saying, there's a certain conversation Christians should have on that basis.
Yeah,
like start there. Might not end in with agreement, but
totally. You can have your feelings about immigration. That's fine. I think oftentimes I feel like it's probably because you just don't know too many immigrants. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe there's a part of you that, because of the ways for which you've moved through the world and your experiences, like I think there's a place for me to understand how one comes to the conclusion they come to. So in that sense, I am always open to understand how a person got to the conclusion that they got to. Does that make sense? So in that sense, like, by all means, please come sit down. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like I said, but there are some things that I will not abide by. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Have either of you guys had an interaction with somebody, even recently, somebody who was just like really fundamentally different from you? How did it go? Like, I don't have to use names or whatever.
Well,
like, I mean, we talk about this, but I sometimes wonder, like, I say things, pious things, but I wonder sometimes, like, when was the last time I actually even had an interaction in which I was challenged like that? I can't even think of one recently, but I imagine you guys maybe have more, just given, I don't know, the work you do or the people you run into. Jason, you said you have had?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to like name names on the podcast, but
I just wonder, like, what's that dynamic like? How does that feel? What happens when that happens?
Literal neighbors, are people that I know genuinely see the world very differently than me. But we are neighbors, and we help each other out. He helps me cut my grass when I let it grow too long, and I clearly need help.
Does that happen often?
Less so now than it used to. But when I first moved in,
it's like, what are we supposed to do with this?
The house looked abandoned for a while, and he was not having it, but not in an angry way, and like I'm going to come help you out way. And similarly, when he was in hospital, I visited him, and we're there for each other, and so we have a real friendship with radically different worldviews. Yeah. And there's genuine love between us. So he, that's a neighbor of mine. But I say at work almost every day, I'm interacting with people that are very different than me on many levels. And, there have even been folks that I think, they're assuming the worst about me. So they assume because I work in the area of diversity and inclusion that
we'll edit those words out later.
Yeah, please.
Not allowed to say that.
Just be clear.
They assume that my worldview is secular. Yeah. They assume that I'm a Marxist. They assume that I'm all these things.
Yeah.
And I can sometimes feel that, and I like trying to move past that and be like, can we leave all of the kind of media caricatures of who I'm supposed to be and who you're supposed to be outside of this room right now and actually just come together as people? Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. So I'm not trying to paint a fuzzy picture with the story of me and my neighbor, which is pretty beautiful. There are many times where it doesn't feel that way. But I interact with people very different than me, not just in worldview, but in race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, education level, all the things, all the time.
Sounds like part of that for you, in the neighbor story, it goes beyond talking and it has to involve almost like acts of service for each other.
Yeah.
Like physically doing these things, or is something that can actually bond people together.
No, for real, I have similar experience with like I can think of three right now, like actual very good friends, who I love, adore, one of which, like, man, their kids spend the night at our house, like they're like family, what I mean? That we vehemently disagree with, in like some pretty fundamental, like at our core disagree, what are you gonna say? It's my family. Yeah. I love them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that maybe it's coming from, living so much in like the poetic world where you hold contradictory things all the time.
I see.
You know what I mean? So like I feel like I can't square the circle. I don't know how we do it, but we just do. You know what I mean? Like I just love them. Like I don't know what to say. I just love them. You know, and I'm sure if any of them were sitting across the table, they would say the same thing. Like I don't know, I just love them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I have sort of a joke question and then a serious question follow-up.
Love it.
You write, Prop, in your book Terraform about being a millennial, a certain kind of millennial.
Yeah, OS1.
But okay, you're a public figure though, and your birthday's on the internet. You were born in the same year as me. We're Gen X, bruh. We're Gen X, 1979.
We are called...
That's Gen X.
We are called Zillennials.
You gotta own the Gen X, I think.
I think there's parts of me that are very Gen X. But the thing
wait,
is,
what year was I born, Brian?
How do you identify? Are you Gen X or millennial? Apparently, you can just choose.
I'm a millennial.
Let me tell you
officially.
Because the phrase, because I learned there's a new phrase, it's called Zillennials. So it's like you're both.
Like with an X, but with
with an X. So it's like you're both. And it's because...
in my head, that was always Xennial, but it's Zillennial.
Yeah, Zillennial.
That makes better sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me tell you why. Because my sister is 6 years older than me. And I'm like, no, she's a Gen X.
There's a difference.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can feel it.
There's a different
You know what I'm
generation.
saying?
Yeah.
There's like, and I know like, and then when I look at millennials, I'm like, oh no, you're actually a millennial. You know what I'm saying? So there's like, but there's this like,
you're the bridge
there's this like, this analog like childhood that like, for some reason, even though my sister and I are like I said, we're only 6 years apart, there are times where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know, I even think that Gen X should be split up.
Oh.
Because there's the like, because to me, there's the Gen X that won't go to therapy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And those are like our like OGs. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that are still making...
A little older Gen X.
Yeah, they're still making the like gay jokes. And you're like, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not... First of all, it's not even funny, number one. And just, can we just like... Hey, bro, if you would like... If you would just go to therapy, dog. Like, if you would just talk to someone.
Right.
You feel me? But anyway.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But I appreciate that.
But you're doing millennial, you're saying.
I am a proper millennial, but I'm an elder millennial.
An elder, so you can counsel the millennials on there.
I don't know if I can, but I think the cutoff is like, did you learn typing in school?
Yes.
In grade school?
That's a good one.
Or in like middle school or high school?
That's a good.
You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
And I know this because I had the conversation with someone recently who saw me typing. And then that surfaced that we're just maybe about 5 years apart. But that 5 years was critical.
It's very different.
Yeah.
There was a year.
They started learning that in 8th grade maybe, whereas I was required in elementary school to do typing. You know?
Given that we're three roughly, having talked about our generations, given that we're three roughly middle-aged men sitting here, I was thinking about the work of Richard Reeves. I don't know if you've heard of Richard Reeves' work. He's a scholar and activist and public intellectual on men, especially how younger men are doing in the world today. His diagnosis is that men are not doing well in the world today. And he has a lot of data around this.
Big duh.
He's argued, among other things, that workplace and schools have valued non-masculine skills, leaving men out who don't fit the mold. He's noted a lack of male teachers in K-12. Was about 30% of the teacher workforce about 30 years ago. Now it's 20% and shrinking. There's a hard to define problem of just despair. Like the leading cause of death for men under 35, and I knew this, but I still am shocked by this, is suicide.
Yeah.
I guess I just wanted to ask you both, like, how are the young men doing in your life? Like, what's your sense of what's going on here in the world of men? Like, what do you see when you look out at this world with regards to men?
Yeah, it's not good, man. It's not good.
Yeah, why? What do you see? Why is it like this?
I am not the expert, but I did actually. It's funny. The next album I'm rolling out is about manhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called "This Is Our Fellowship."
So you've been thinking about this from a musical, from a poetic,
how to like
perspective. Yeah,
put it together. I feel like this might be the Gen X in me. Is like there's a little bit of like. There's a little bit of like I feel like we were the last that like played outside, so we have a little more street smarts to know when I'm being hustled.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
So for me, what I had, I'll use the language I use is like, well, we had OGs, we had older men, older boys, big homies. We all played outside, so like there was a certain level of I don't know discipleship. For better or for worse, some of it was discipleship into the gang, you know what I mean? But either way, either way, there were other voices, you know what I'm saying, in our lives. I think what I have, in my opinion, is the issue has been diagnosed pretty accurately. It's the solutions that have been tragic and hustles. Like you're being hustled.
Yeah, like what's a hustle?
Actually hustled too.
Yeah, you're
like
being
sign
hustled.
up for my course.
Yeah,
sign up for this. Sign up for that.
Yeah. So they're saying, okay, so men aren't thriving. You're having a hard time finding partners. Well, obviously the problem is, women. Well, they shouldn't have rights. Well, if they were at home, you know, then they would, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, the reason why they're not choosing you is because you don't have enough money. and you don't know how to run a business. Why don't you sign up for my course?
Right.
And I'm gonna show you how to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you're being, bro, you being hustled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I man, I've had to tell Lil homies like, look, man, if a man is telling you he make $10,000, $20,000 a day on his online web store, why he need to sell you a class?
Yeah.
What then? Why is it? Then that means you the product, son. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you are the $10,000.
Yeah.
So just those types of things where for me it was like, if I was acting crazy in school or Sunday school or whatever, right? Saturday morning, somebody would knock on the door. It'd be Alex Carrasco and Rudy Bruman, and they would say, Miss Petty, it's 8 a.m. He need to go lay concrete with us. So I would have to go lay bricks, lay concrete. You know what I'm saying? Like he would just with their sons and nephews.
Yeah.
It would make us go work. You know what I'm saying? So like, and during that time, it would be like, hey, so I heard you was being a little disrespectful to your mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, while we're laying, you feel me? So it was like, there was an entire community, you know what I mean, of like other men, for better or for worse, they were there. You know, I wasn't left on my own, you know, in the basement just listening to some dude trying to sell me a product. You feel me?
Right.
That's what I found.
Right.
And the last thing is, I think that there's a concept that truly needs to die, which is this idea that we are owed partners. Like we're like that's what I'm supposed to get a good job. I'm supposed to find a wife. Like that's what I'm owed. Right. So I am being robbed if I'm not getting these things that dude is telling me what a man gets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I've been robbed. So who's the problem? Well, the problem are these girls. You feel me? And I'm like, well, that's because you think you're owed this. You feel me? And again, that's why I bring up the Gen X thing. Yeah. Nobody owe you nothing.
That is a Gen X thing.
You know what I'm saying? That's exactly. That's what I mean, a Gen X thing.
I feel it. Now I see it.
Nobody owes you anything, bro. Yeah. You know, and I think that, but that's because I had older men that said that. Like, nobody owe you nothing. Get up and work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I was just thinking about like the young men I know are being sold. Like you can't be a young man and not encounter a friend who starts talking to you about crypto.
Yeah.
Oh man,
or
crypto stuff.
Trading international currencies, or which has a name that I don't know because I've never signed up for the course, or you know how to be the best dad. Even like there's a course and there's kind of like a hustle culture around everything, and I don't know what I found is that if Christians, specifically like the church, Big C, isn't offering people a path and isn't offering people a framework to move in this very strange world, people will find it somewhere else. Yeah. And so, you know, you certainly have Christian institutions that are embracing some of these same ideas, you know, but they're not the dominant, I would say, like force speaking into young men. The dominant force is saying, let's just let's ignore all of this. Yeah. Let's not even talk about it. And the problem is like when you don't give people a better way or a better path that somehow like they're enchanted by and interested in, and it's answering the questions they're asking, they will fill that in somewhere else. So maybe they didn't learn misogyny in your church, but because you didn't like effectively offer an alternative, that weed grew in your garden.
Facts.
You know? And so that's the thing I'm wrestling with a lot is like, I think that polite Christians are trying to avoid culture wars. Yeah. Just across the board.
Totally. I mean, I feel that.
In general, yeah.
You don't know what to do. It's like you're walking in a minefield.
I came here to say this to you, Brian.
Okay, sir, stop.
I'm convicted.
But like,
where's your altar? I'm coming to your altar.
Like,
right here.
Be a man about it.
You call me to the altar. This is about me.
No, okay. I think
Do you
really
get what I'm saying?
No, you're cooking, man, because I feel like this is where I feel like the scriptures or the church could really step in to say something like, because this is what I'm witnessing too. Like at the end of the day, these little boys are looking for value, and how they evaluate their value is what are they trading?
Yeah.
Basically, how much, what are you generating?
Yeah.
Like, you matter because of what you generate and the amount of toys or females.
Which are
you're
in the
able to
toy
attract.
category.
Yes, exactly. They're all just toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but somebody to say, hey, you're valuable because you exist, not because you're not here because of what you bring us to the table. You're not welcome to our room because of what you generate. No, you don't have to generate anything. You're valued because you exist.
That's a real prodigal son parallel right there.
I mean, it really is. And it's like, but look, that's what his daddy told him. You know what I'm saying? So like, so have another man in my mind, like have another man tell you, bro, you don't have to make anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you here because you here. You one of us. And again, to be a little more weird, again, like I said, for better or for worse, a lot of times that's what young boys where I come from get in the streets. Just what you get in the hood is just like, oh no, you live here. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you one of us. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We always got you. You ain't gotta. Nah, you want you. And a lot of times it's like we had went through some things, you know, with a lot of the street culture. Man, you start in junior high. You know what I mean? So like we was in daycare together, you know, and it's like, bro, there's nothing. You know, we was dodging the same bullets and running from the same. There's nothing you could do. You matter because you're a day one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think so you hear that and it's like, so yeah, when this guy is like 19 about to transition out of juvie to, you know, an adult prison, you like, why are you still a part of this?
Right.
It's like
hearing this makes me wonder how similar or different it is from the path that maybe people who come from places like where I came from in the rural Midwest or who look like me get into like neo-Nazi.
100%.
it's 100% the same thing.
Right?
Same path.
It's 100% the same thing.
Those feelings of belonging, that sense of like who
Purpose.
am I, purpose, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's ISIS.
Yeah.
It's Al-Qaeda. That's all of it. It's like, I'm giving you purpose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
Purpose and belonging.
Yeah.
Can I tell a story?
Yeah.
I, against my better judgment, was a middle school youth camp counselor this past summer. No, I'm kidding. I loved it.
You'd be great at that.
I didn't think I'd be great. I thought, why are you asking me to do this?
Yeah.
I'm not like a peppy person.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm an intense, sad person.
Yeah.
You know, like what? But I did it and I loved it.
Yeah.
And there was a pastor who I was unfamiliar with, who we were going to do this night where we talked to just the boys. And I was already bracing myself like, oh boy, what's this going to be about?
You feel
like my son is in the room and I'm like, whatever kind of Christian packaged misogyny might get shared here.
You were worried that there was gonna be some bad messaging.
And that I'm gonna have to like undo later.
But don't listen to nothing that dude said. Listen,
a father-son walk after.
Exactly.
You know, to sort of.
And with the boys, I was the cabin leader of. Like I was gonna fix it later.
Yeah.
But we ended up doing this amazing thing. So he talked about St. George and the Dragon.
Oh yeah.
And he talked about how, I believe in Hungary, they created this Society of St. George. And the idea was that like there was a time where the Crusaders were this picture of masculinity, but the Crusaders were raping and murdering and doing horrific things. And we need an alternative masculine hero in the faith.
Yeah.
And that's St. George slaying the dragon. And they started this society where men would take a sacred vow to like protect the weak, to stand up for justice, to do all these things. And so we like inducted these middle school boys into the Society of St. George and talked about they, because they're in this generation, didn't even know they didn't know what the Crusades were. But we heard about that stuff. Like that was a mascot when we were growing up. Like
the Crusaders,
and they heard about it in this like negative way. Like they didn't do this triumphant thing for the faith. They actually did horrific, what would now be called like crimes against humanity, you know? But St. George, he protected those that were abused and those that were vulnerable. And we're inducting you into the Society of St. George. And what was amazing was like the boys asked us later on, like, so how old were you when you were inducted? And I remember thinking like, oh, to them, this is just like normal. They
Rite of
think
passage,
they think this is just a normal rite of passage. They don't know that a bunch of like disturbed middle-aged men like cook this up in a back room to try to keep
Never got this. Yeah.
to like try to keep them from like following Andrew Tate on YouTube. Anyway, so
that's good.
That's amazing.
It was a good time.
It was amazing. I don't want to end this conversation propaganda without talking about your new spoken word album, The Beautiful Ending.
Absolutely.
And for listeners out there, we're going to put a link below to one of the music performance videos for the first track, On the Brink of Extinction. Which I just found like mesmerizing. I could just sit with that for a really long time, and I've only really started to just like listen to it like 8 or 9 times. But like, first of all, okay, a couple of things. I wanted to bring up a couple of phrases from this and just ask you about. I know to ask an artist to like explain their own work isn't always the right move, but I just wonder if we could talk about the themes. Like the repeated iconic line in the piece is "Who needs luggage in paradise?" Yeah, dude. You said many times, and even this phrase "brink of extinction." I was getting themes of like, on the one hand, we're facing death. Our time is short. Yeah. On the other hand, I wondered if there's some aspect that if you were thinking about, I don't know, the end of some kind of order in the world, or the end of a time and the beginning of a new time.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, like what's going extinct for you?
So let me back up with the word Endling. So I got it from a Radio Lab podcast. I'm not gonna lie, right? And what the story was there was these people that worked at this like hospice care spot, a man whose all of his siblings have passed, he didn't have kids, they were going through whatever, and he just kind of asked like, I wonder if there's a name for what I am in my family. Like I'm
the last one.
Yeah, I'm the last one.
Endling.
An Endling. So they looked it up and they were like, is there a name for a species, like the last living thing of a species before it exists or before it goes extinct? Yeah. Right. And I mean, there was like a contest, like science didn't have a word for it. So they were like, so they did all these different things. They landed on Endling, like as in like youngling, foundling. You know what I mean? So like Endling.
Firstling.
Yeah, firstling.
Endling.
So yeah, that was the idea. Like so then, but the word has an asterisk because as conservation and sort of like taxonomy and all that, like how all of it works, a species doesn't really go extinct because its closest family and genus picks up all of those traits, right? So like, forgive me, Christian school, but like, there were 6 other human species that like,
yeah, you know
what I'm saying? That like
human evolution.
Yeah, like that, like, and they all kind of exist in Homo sapiens. You know what I'm saying? Like we have traits from all of them.
Heidelbergensis.
Yeah, all that.
And these
all that. Yeah. So like, so then I thought about like, even within my family, like there's my grandma. I didn't spend a lot of time with my grandmother. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother's sister, my Aunt Dot. So a lot of my habits, the way that I raised my kids, are not from my grandmother, from Aunt Dot, but Aunt Dot didn't have any children. So like, I see. So she has not gone extinct, even though her line's done. No, it's not. It's in my kids. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
that's so powerful.
Yes. Yeah. So it really is. So I was like, oh, this is a poetry album. Like, oh, it's there, right? Yeah. So when I thought about extinction, there's full circle to our conversation. We are the last humans that know what life was without an internet.
Right.
Yeah. We're it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So once we're gone, it's gone. Right. No one's gonna know what it was like, right? You can look at our. If I was a social science and history major, you know what I'm saying? I taught social science, and I'm like, okay, when a nation state gets to the dot on the plot that we're at, there is no coming back. It's always different after this. You know what I'm saying? This is just history. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, so the imagined America as we think we know it, oh, that's gone. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, but if you know there's an extinction coming and you know that the people after you are going to pick up your traits, what if we could pick those traits? You understand what I'm saying?
What are you going to leave behind?
What am I going to leave behind? What can I what do we say, oh, you kids, you don't know what it's like to not have a phone in your pocket. You could be like that, or we could say, okay, hey, here's what was dope about that. Here's what I want you to remember about that. Here's what sucked about it. My parents had no idea where I was. That's real. They just had no idea.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, maybe that wasn't that good,
Yeah,
but
at times.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so the idea in the beginning, especially with this one, that first poem with the brink of extinction, was accepting that reality. That what you thought was is done.
Yeah.
It is, right? So now and then as you move through the record, it's like, oh, well, nothing truly goes extinct. What can I pass on? So the Who Needs Luggage in Paradise, I really kind of walked away from the Notebook after that one. It was just like, woo, if I do say so myself. But
You called it out in the song itself.
yeah, I was like, that's a bar.
Yeah.
But
You knew.
But it was like, I was also watching this show called Extrapolations. Did you guys watch that on Apple TV?
No.
Anyway, it's about climate crisis. But the idea was, yeah, like what if, I mean, there was even personal times like where it's like the pandemic stopped my touring. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, so I'm not touring like I used to. Okay, what am I holding on to? And now that I know that now that you've accepted it's done, accept it. All right. How do I feel about a lot of these things? And I'm like, well, why would I fight about this? Why would I care about this? Why would I hold on to, if I'm going to why would you take stuff to paradise? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, yo, let it go. You know what I'm saying? So in whatever ways that kind of plays out, no matter how you got to that extinction, that's why I was like, that's why it ends with like, all because some outside force, some heartless colonial imperialistic parasite, using it metaphorically, concerned only with its own posterity, because some of that is also just nature. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, yeah, like the globe, the temperature can't handle this plant species anymore. It's just the planet's different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it's an outside
Change.
force. It's just change.
Yeah. It reminds me of the beauty of the theological idea of apocalypse or apocalypsis in Greek. It means, we think of the word apocalypse like the end of the world, raining fire, but it's a beautiful world that means an unveiling.
Yeah.
Like the lifting of a curtain on a stage.
Yeah.
It's an ending, but it's also a thing that you can then see.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much more we could talk about. We've got to end this, but this is a beautiful note to end on, and just to think about your track. Congratulations on your new album.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming and talking with us about these
Thank
beautiful
you for having
things.
me do this.
Yeah.